Welcome back to another episode of the Tracy Take. Today we are going to be going over the Bengals shocking, honestly, everyone with their win over the Baltimore Ravens. Not really win, the dominance, I would say, of the Baltimore
Yeah.
Ravens. But before we get into that, make sure that you subscribe to this channel, hit that notification bell so you can see when we create new content. Like this video, comment, and let us know your thoughts. Ryan, I'm shocked. Like, I knew we talked about it on our Sunday prediction, saying that we we could see this game being close, but probably still giving the edge to the Ravens. They're a little bit more
Yeah.
established. Yeah, they have the running back issues, but still their defense just looked better. Their offense is just as more cohesion, I would say.
They were
And
coming off a big win against the Chargers too.
big win, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I was going to say though, but it couldn't have been more opposite. Now, I think the game was a little bit closer than what the final score says. But that being said, though, the Bengals still they dominated the game. Well, they dominated the second half, obviously, but they were the better team in the first half. I thought. After the first quarter, Lamar Jackson and company really kind of this stalled. They did put up 10 points in the second quarter, but it was really just kind of off the one drive where they scored the touchdown. Then after that, they came out and scored a touchdown to start the half, and then never did anything really productive. Yeah, I think it was punts or turnover on downs. The Bengals defense is actually what really impressed me the most. They get after Lamar Jackson. They had 5 sacks, totaling for 18 yards. They were able to contain every other running back to just 27 yards, and Lamar Jackson had 88 yards. Like, Lamar Jackson was the only reason why the game was somewhat close to start off. Sorry, I know I keep talking a bunch here, but I think to me the Bengals defense was what really shocked me on how well they played.
Yeah, no, I mean, that I guess isn't necessarily the most shocking thing for me, but the fact that the Bengals defense, I think we talked about it at the beginning or before the episode, the Bengals defense right now is 5th in points per game, which coming into this season, we both kind of agree that like the Bengals defense, like if it's average, that's probably like their ceiling.
Yeah.
And because last year it was atrocious, but they were on the field a ton, and they were usually always playing from behind. And that's just not the case this year. They're playing ahead. Teams are having to throw into them. Those DBs are able to kind of play how they want. And overall, I think they've just done a really good job coaching up this defense. Sam Hubbard is a guy that made a huge impact yesterday. I'm not sure on his overall numbers, but I remember watching the game, and he was a guy that was consistently in the backfield, consistently moving Lamar Jackson off his spot. But I was very, very impressed. Here, I do have it. So he had 5. Sam Hubbard had 5 total tackles, 3 solo, 2.5 sacks, and 2 tackles for loss.
That's insane. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's – and that was even with Trey Hendrickson. He was a guy that was really highlighted pregame about being the guy. I think he leads the Bengals in overall sacks, and he had 1 sack. Did he have a sack? Yeah, he had 1 sack, which was a QB hit, and that's why to me it focuses so much on the defense, because this Ravens offense has been able to show that they can be explosive. Lamar Jackson is having a great quarterback here. Obviously, we know how well he can run the ball, but he's throwing the ball really well. And they were able to keep Marquise Brown and Mark Andrews in check relatively. I know Marquise Brown had the touchdown reception.
Yeah.
But that to me is why I've been highlighting so much on the defense, because when we get to the offense, everyone saw the potential that this team has and how diverse they have. Like, we were talking about Tampa Bay and all the receiving weapons that they have. The Bengals have a great receiving core as well. Then you have Joe Mixon, who's one of the better running backs in the league.
Well, that's so that was, you said the defense was the most surprising thing. For me, it was Jamar Chase's performance. Jamar Chase, I mean, he didn't go up against Marlon Humphrey for all of his snaps, But
Yeah.
I know that 80-yard touchdown that he caught was a slant against Marlon Humphrey, and he toasted him, like absolutely toasted him on a slant, and then took it to the house. 8 catches, 201 yards, and a touchdown is absurd, and he's a rookie.
Yeah.
So in the pre-draft process, obviously watching him and Joe Burrow from the 2019 college football season, you knew that he was a special talent. But right now, he is on pace through 7 games to catch over 1,600 yards as a rookie. Justin Jefferson broke the record last year with about 1,400, 1,450. Jamar Chase is going to double that, or is going to do that in 14 games. He's on pace to do it in 14 games.
Yeah.
Crazy. And then CJ Uzomah had a really good game on National Tight End Day. It's insane, this Bengals offense right now.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. And this is why I think I remember going back to our season preview for the Bengals. And we talked about the weapons. We did talk about Jamar Chase. And the reason why it's not as surprising, like, yeah, it was a game. It was his best game of the year. But he has had against Green Bay another big game. Like, he's shown up in these big moments. Like he had 6. No, Jamar Chase. He had 6 receptions for 159 yards and a touchdown. Another one, his touchdown was off a long 70-yard catch as well. He shows up here in primetime. For the Bengals, though, to go up and shut down probably if you look at who they played the Minnesota Vikings, shut them down to 24 points. That's a good offense. The Green Bay Packers, we obviously know how good of an offense that is. Only held them to 25 points. And now the Baltimore Ravens, who is also, I would put them up there in one of the better offenses just with how elite their skill players are. And then they held them to 17 points. This defense is what has them as the number 1 team in the AFC right now, and has them with the number 1 bye right now. If I'm not mistaken on how the matchups are working out, this defense is surprisingly one of the best in the league.
Yeah, and I'm not disagreeing with you. I just think this offense needs to get credit. And if the offense isn't kicking, if they're not putting up 41 points, granted they're still going to win a lot of these games because their defense is playing so well, but it just complements it so much better. And they're the number 1 team in the AFC right now, based off of seeding. So,
well, and that's what I'm not trying to take away credit from the offense. Obviously, they're able to put up 41 points with 3 explosive. Well, actually, not even just 3. Both of CJ Uzomah's was he had a long one, 55 yards. Let me check here. CJ Uzomah had a 32-yard one. Jamar Chase had an 82-yard one. The last touchdown of the game, Samaj Perine had a 46-yard run, and they're trying to just have garbage time, put the nail in the coffin. They have all these explosive plays, and we kind of expect that with the Bengals with how many weapons that they have. It really is like I'm trying to think of more of a 180 turnaround. That
was kind of how I wanted
the teams have had in the past.
Well, that was what I was going to say. They were last place in the division last season, and then the season before that, they were the worst team in the NFL, if I remember
a couple years
correctly.
In a row.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, they were because the Ravens and the Browns both made the playoffs. So, good drafting, good coaching all around. The Bengals are our team to be our team not to mess with right now. So,
and I will say, and we apologize. I know from my end to the Bengals front office for saying that they should have drafted Penei Sewell. I would say that's why you are getting paid the big bucks and not myself. So I think the Jamar Chase pick is working out. He's rookie of the year, right? Like if he stays on this pace, maybe. You have to see. I guess you'd have to see where Mac Jones ends up. And I'd have to think who some of the other But like Jalen Waddle and Devontae Smith, they're having good years, but not like Jamar Chase. Penei
Oh
Sewell, I
no,
haven't heard too much about him. But like he's on the
I mean,
Lions, like I don't think they give it to an offensive tackle. J.C.
in
Horn
my head, the
potentially,
only
but he
two that
got
I can
hurt.
really think of are Jamar Chase and Mac Jones.
Those are the only
Those are
two
the
right
only
now
two
that
that I
are
can think
just sticking
of.
out to me.
Yeah. Defensive player of the year, maybe like Micah Parsons, but he's not in the running for overall rookie of the year.
That is true. Micah
But
Parsons,
yeah,
that's a good pick. That's a good pick. But right now, I mean, Jamar Chase, if he continues with this performance, and if you look at their upcoming schedule, let me pull this up here. Just make sure here on my handy dandy notebook. So they're playing the Jets next week. That's a win. Then they're hosting the Browns. If Baker Mayfield's not back, I mean, I'm thinking the Bengals
mm-hmm.
are the favorite. And it's nothing against them, but it's just the Browns without Baker Mayfield in there, and then if Odell Beckham's not feeling great, and if Jarvis Landry's still hurt, they kind of become one dimensional. Now they're really good at running the ball, so they can slow the game down a lot and probably keep the Bengals offense. But are they going to be able to contain all of those weapons on the Bengals side? Then they're going to the Raiders. Then they're hosting the Steelers. I mean, they have honestly, actually, it's really interesting. For finishing last in their division, they have a fairly tough schedule coming up.
So that's what I've noticed too. Even like teams like New England. New England was third in their division last year, and New England actually is playing a lot of playoff teams with winning records. So sometimes you just get unlucky. But I mean, there's not a team in the NFL that I don't think that they cannot beat. So,
I mean, there's not really one coming to mind. I mean, I think
like, obviously
they're playing Kansas City.
There are good games.
They're playing Kansas City in January. Yeah, but
that's a home game.
I mean, they're definitely a team to watch. Yeah, they are home game. Yeah, so. But yeah, no, amazing game by the Bengals. Big win. Very shocking win. I think definitely a lot of people have attention with the Cincinnati Bengals now.
Mm-hmm. But I think that's going to do it for this episode of the Tracy Take. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe, and we will see you guys next time.